Welcome to the third and last video of my little seeding balance series. Thanks to AliExpress once again, I've got myself hold of one of these Pagani design watches, and it's one of their more original ones, at least from the looks of it. That's really what I've been after. And this one is dirt cheap, I'm not joking. Currently on the AliExpress site, this one is retailing for £23 before discounts. Now you may have to pay some import fees depending on where you live, but even with import fees, this thing is dirt cheap and looks quite promising, I must say. So yeah, I'll whack this open and give you my first impressions on it. Now this one, unlike most videos on this channel, I don't think is actually a new design or anything. This one's been around for 3 years maybe, but I never got the opportunity to try it, and you know, at this price, if it's any good, it's still probably worth sharing with you. So let's check it out, eh? And here we go, Pagani design. Unfortunately, no supercar in this box. But we do have a fairly unusual looking watch. And wow, that is a very cheap strap. Not completely disastrous, you know, it's at least nice and soft, but you know, the lining has gone yellowy there. But the main watch itself is actually, you know, quite impressive from the looks of this. It does look exactly how it looked online. So the model here is the Pagani Design PD1654. As you can tell from the looks of this, if you're familiar with the Seiko Presage cocktail time, it's clearly heavily inspired by that model. Now, there was a previous iteration of this watch which just did away with the data indicator there on the right, and that one looked even more like the Seiko. But this one is an extra step away because of that, and in general, things like the case and stuff, and even the dial to an extent, are actually quite different. It's still got that same bold radiating effect, but the rest of the piece is pretty different. I've already had my hands on a Seiko Presage before, and of course the price is radically different. What are you actually getting for your money here? Well, you're getting a watch that appears to be stainless steel, at least that's what they're saying here. Yeah, this particular one has got like a rose gold finish to it. I think maybe it is stainless steel. It's definitely got a stainless steel back. Advertised 100 meters of water resistance there too. Crystal is just a mineral crystal here, a lightly domed one, but doesn't suffer from much glare really. Get quite a clear look at the dial beneath. And this one comes in multiple colors. I just went with the one that was more unique. I've been looking for pieces to feature in an upcoming video on Ben's Watch Club about the best, more original AliExpress designs. And this certainly has some elements of originality to it. And I already had a lot of dark dialed watches, so I wanted to mix it up. Went with this, which isn't something admittedly I would usually wear. Wonder if this version's smaller than the previous Pagani design. It says here 40 millimeters. It says dial diameter, but I think that's actually the case diameter. I could have sworn that the other one was bigger than this. Yeah, maybe the strap isn't, despite the discoloured rear, actually as bad as I expected. Let's get the measurements. Across the width, exactly 40 millimeters. Lug to lug is pretty short on this one, 45.8. And thickness isn't too bad, even with the crystal, 10.5, and without it, 8.8. Now, as for the movement that this one uses, this looks like some version of a Mecha Quartz here. Here, yes, Seiko VH65, which is why it's much thinner than most mechanical watches. And as a result of that, you get a semi-smooth sweep to the second hand. Not quite as silky as a mechanical or anything, but certainly more interesting than the single tick per second. Comes in a bunch of other colours too. The watch is pretty light, and as a result of that, and you know, partly because of the type of movement as well, just doesn't feel quite as premium as some of the other watches you can get on AliExpress in the higher price brackets, you know, like £50 plus. But for this money, it's really quite hard to complain. I'll give you a nice close-up of this dial. It certainly is snazzy, and yeah, it does look exactly like it looks online. They weren't photoshopping, it doesn't seem. It does have a slight blue hue to that crystal there. And here's a look at the snapback rear. Nothing special going on there. Just tells you the name of the model and then the brand name and stuff. Does it look as good as a Seiko Presage? Definitely not. But surprisingly, you know, the case in that on the Seiko Presages was never the best. So in that regard, it really isn't that far off. Don't see any obvious QC errors or anything major, which is all you can really ask for at this price point. I'll leave a link to it in the video description, as well as any other discount codes I can find for this model. I mean, if you can somehow use the discount code on this, I'd be shocked. You might be able to get it even cheaper. Now, personally, not sure I'd ever bother spending, as bad as it sounds, so little on a watch. I feel like you just get a fair amount more for your money at the £50+ mark. But if you're on a super tight budget, it's actually not bad at all. It's definitely better than a lot of the watches on the likes of Amazon at this price, without a doubt. Nice to also not just have a drop-shipped watch. And there it is on my 6¼ inch wrist. Don't normally get away with 40mm watches. This wear's quite small. I think just because of that short lug to lug, it doesn't look that bad, really. Definitely feels like a viable option if you just want a cheap dress watch that you're going to use very occasionally. Not 100% sure that the Pagani logo matches the theme entirely, but in general, you know, it's a pretty solid cheap choice. Love to know what you think in the comments. Can you think of another watch that's as cheap as this, or cheaper than this, that still offers this sort of bang for the buck? I would be interested to try some of the other silver versions of this watch, just to check that case, because you know, it does feel pretty light, but because this one's got that rose gold coating, it's just a bit more difficult to discern the definite case material. But the dial itself, yeah, I mean, I think that is surprisingly good. So yeah, it's linked below. Let me know what you think.